Wow, wow, wow. Again, this is your own Bukundika Ezra, the country director of Family Peace Association, an organization that works all over the world in promoting God centered families with a vision of a world of peace through God centered families. How do you define your family? How do you define your marriage? These are very core principles on which you can be guided on having a family that is more productive, that's more meaningful, that's more edifying and very enjoying. People have reduced families to people. They have reduced a family to father, mother, and then children or members of the extended family whom we call relatives. A family is far beyond that. God instituted a family in a garden, meaning every family must have a source of livelihood. He never created the family, then created the livelihood. No, he began with a garden. Traditionally, our families were crafted in such a model. And by then, Africa was one of the richest continents in the world. A family was self-reliant. Family was self-sustaining. That is the family I'm talking about. You should know that once you establish yourself as husband and wife, you must create the first production unit within the homestead to guarantee you livelihood, to guarantee you survival. Where do you get the food that you eat in that family? Where do you get the plates that you use in that family? It is ideal that in the family you should have a center of production. Even if it is simple chapati baking or chapati making, it's important as long as it can bring income. In a family, there are basics that need to be there, depending on which culture you come from. From my own background, I expect that a family must have a goat because goats are treasured. Goats are used for bride price. Goats are used for farming in terms of an activity. Goats are source of food in terms of source. Every family must have basics like goats. You don't need very many, even if there are 3, even if there are 4. Every family must have something that derives, that guarantees its livelihood. You must have some chicken. In my culture, every home would always have these basics. When you host a visitor, you don't need to go to a market to buy something. You should be having some chicken to slaughter. In every home, there should be some vegetables or greens. In every home, you should have a simple garden. Even those in urban areas, the things you have that you are struggling to dispose can be used to do some urban gardening. Why do you need these items? Because you are raising a generation that you must skill in productive activities. The young people in the home should be engaged as sources of labor so that they can be able to learn how to earn a living. When you have a home that only has flower gardens, swimming pools, good, loving sitting rooms, and yet you're raising a generation, that generation will be lost. You'll ask them, where do you get chicken from? The child will tell you a supermarket. Where do you get milk? They'll tell you a supermarket. Can children have access to cows and learn that we get milk from the cows? Can they be taught how to graze these cows? Can they be taught how to graze those animals? Our forefathers set the right precedence. In every homestead, those basics were the building blocks, were the foundations. And every child was inducted into the learning, the skilling on how to sustain those assets. Children knew how to even build their own homes. In my local language, you call it chirimba. Every adult young boy, you are not meant to sleep in your father's household. You would go to the nearby forest and be taught how to put up a small hut for yourself. These are not just for formality, but you are passing in a skill. Families can be strong once we build the foundations on these fundamental activities. A family should be the first productive unit. Indians are maintaining that. That's why they're dominating the economy. Africans are beginning to deviate from the ideals that made a family. We are focusing on simply families as purely avenues for producing children who are just being idle. They're not being taught anything. Many parents complain, my child can't do anything. Have you given them an environment that can help them learn those basics? Uganda can be a very rich country. Africa can regain its self-reliance. Everything we need to achieve must start from the family. A family should be defined in tangible aspects. A family should have a father, a mother, children, and relatives, and every member in the family should be engaged in something productive. The family should be the first business that employs its members, but employs other people within the neighborhood so that they can contribute to the welfare of society, to the welfare of the economy. There is no country in the world that can grow into a powerful nation where it does not have powerful families. Let's inculcate deliberately institutions that must make a formidable family as a basic unit for community transformation. Each time you approve a building plan of anybody, that person should be able to give you evidence of a production unit where the family will be engaging in some sense activity that can drive a source of livelihood. The tendency of having very good bungalows, flowered with a lot of good gardens, flowered with a lot of flowers, with so much swimming pools, without sources of income should be ending. In every family, there should be a small production unit. That is a country that we shall be right in, that is going to achieve the vision for the country, the vision for society, the vision for Africa. It all starts from the family. Thank you so much for listening. We want to see you use those people that God has given you, your spouse, your children, to be enterprising. Everything must start from the family.